Hey guys, welcome to Pennsylvania Patriot. HJ here with another episode. Already had this rifle on the channel, but I wanted to bring it back. I put a scope on it and got some different ammunition for it. So today, hopefully, I'll take it out and shoot it. The ammunition just came in, so I wanted to unbox it. So the rifle itself, you guys have seen, but I changed it a little bit. It's a 444 Marlin, and this is the 444P. This one was my grandfather's. It was willed to me, and it's in pristine shape. But I put a rail on here. It's just a cheap Monstrum rail and some scope rings, and I put a Vortex 2 to 7 power. Little bell on it here so it can clear, but with my aging eyes, scopes sure do help. So but anyway, the ammunition that I got, that's the big part of this, is the Hornady Superformance 265 grain flat point. And unfortunately, Hornady doesn't make these bullets anymore to reload. They just factory load them, and I think that this is like the best 444 ammo in my mind. It's an exposed lead tip bullet. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Maybe. And like torpedoes, really cool. I have some old Remington core-locked ammo, and it's so old that I don't even know if it's safe to shoot anymore. Some people be like, well, yeah, you know, it's good for many years. This stuff it's old. It's as old as a rifle, and I think the rifle is from 1999, so it's like 26 years old of ammo. And I'll have to check back in the exact date of that, but one thing that happened to the old ammo is I left it in it was my grandfather's ammunition case, and it's a leather foldable, holds 20 rounds, and in the leather there's your tanning agents, and also leather attracts moisture, and it really corroded the brass. Let me go get a piece of that. We'll put that back on. Okay, so I'm back. So I got some of this. So this is maybe a good lesson for if you're gonna store ammunition, you gotta store it properly. This gunky stuff, focus, it is gunky and cruddy. And yes, I can wipe it off with some alcohol and stuff. I might still do that. Maybe I'll take a chance, but you really shouldn't. That's a sign of like ammo degradation, I guess you would say. But it's a shame because I have like 20 of these, and I just stuck them in some of these Norma shell holders. It's a shame to have wasted it, but it's a lesson learned. So if you're gonna keep your ammunition with you while you're hunting, and you have one of these leather pouches, or maybe on your stock, there's a channel out there called Mason Leather, and he builds these really nice ammunition holders for on the back of your stock. Check him out. If you're gonna do that, don't leave your ammunition sit in it long term. There's factors in the chemicals that are used in the tanning, and they also will draw moisture around your ammunition, so you really should store your ammo right. But yeah, like I said, this stuff is gunky. I wouldn't feed this into this rifle. It's going to cause a malfunction, if not a catastrophic failure, because you got all this crap that's going to build up in your chamber. And also, we don't know what this is on the outside. There is a name for it. Somebody, if you know, comment what it is. But from what I've read, is that this is a leaching of the copper from the brass. And so I would only assume, and again, I'm not a metallurgist, that this brass is now weaker because of that. So if you're going to store in a, well, you should never store in your leather pouches. Keep it in a good, airtight, dry, cool environment. Try to keep it the same temperature, and ammunition can last, decades really if it's properly cared for. So anyway, so this ammunition, getting back to this. This is a 265 grain flat point from Hornady, and it's the Super Performance round. It's doing 2,400 feet a second, and it's generating, if you fall into the, I'll call it a theory of foot-pounds of energy, it's generating 3,389 foot-pounds. That's like potent. That's big-time energy. Okay, so I mean you're climbing up real high if you're into that stuff. I don't subscribe to foot-pounds of energy. I used to, and we'll get into that in a minute. G1 on this ballistics. This is really funny. It's a 1.189. This isn't made for shooting long range. The 444 was never designed for shooting long range. The SD on this is 205, and the test barrel that they used to achieve this was 24 inches. We're not going to see that, but I am going to try to get some footage, if I can go out today, of this Marlin, and I believe this Marlin has an 18-inch barrel on it. Excuse me. So why I don't subscribe to foot-pounds of energy is I have killed deer, and they say 1,000 foot-pounds of energy to cleanly kill a deer. I have killed a deer with a 22 Magnum, and the deer was injured. I went out to look for the deer, found the deer, it was still alive, and I shot it with a 22 mag, and it killed it. And I have shot deer with 222 Remington, 22 Hornet, 223, and they've dropped, fell straight to the ground, dead as a doornail. And most of these rounds don't produce that much energy. I've shot deer with 300 Winchester Magnum, 300 Ultra Magnum, 338 Winchester Magnum, 45-70, all kinds of rounds. And shot placement is just, that's what it is, and bullet selection. A lot of people have that FUD lore that you need this much energy for a deer. I will say this: velocity and bullet construction is a bigger key factor than that stupid number that somebody wrote down and figured out, because you take velocity times mass and blah 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 and punch it in, and that gives you your energy. And if you hit a deer with 3,389 foot-pounds or pounds of energy, so that's a ton, like a ton and a half of energy, it would flatten it. It would throw it through the air like you see on the movies, and it just doesn't work that way. Anybody that's shot any animals, it's pass through or get stuck in, even if it got stuck in there, that's when you would think it would throw the animal, but that doesn't happen that way. And that's why I think foot-pounds is such a stupid way of judging how powerful or how effective a cartridge is. So velocity definitely does play a factor, because velocity for bullet construction matters. So a flat point lead is going to take less velocity to open than a, let's say for instance, a Hornady GMX, which is gilding metal. It's a monolithic, all one metal, no lead in it. Or a Barnes, all copper. Um, the hammer bullets, some of these new monolithic style bullets, velocity is a key factor to make them deploy. So think of it this way. If you took a full metal jacket, .430 bullet like this is in this 444, and you took a full metal jacket 223 and you shoot a deer with it, which don't do that, but this is for, illustrational purposes. If you shot a deer, which one do you think would die quicker? They're both probably going to run a considerable amount, but this, because it has a bigger frontal diameter, is going to make a bigger hole. So if you use a really good expanding bullet and it's within its velocity ranges, you're going to have really good performance out of something that maybe would be questionable to many. 223, I like a Spear Gold Dot 62 grain. They're kind of hard to get. They're kind of like a limited run, but they make them in 55 and I think 70. So it's a bonded bullet, and let me tell you, man, when it hits, it flattens out and it makes a pretty good sized hole in a deer for a 223. You wouldn't think that, but it really does. And I've killed deer with the Barnes X bullets out of a 223, and it's straight through, both side penetration, in and out. And they either run a little bit, like when I say a little bit, I'm talking like 20, 30 yards, or they fall down straight dead. The most explosive, best killing deer rifle I've ever shot, and I've shot tons of deer rifles and tons of deer with them, is a 270 Winchester. I have never ever had a deer take a step from a 270. I've seen them take steps from other people, but where I shoot at, where I place my bullet, and the bullet I use, they just snap straight to the ground. So that's why I don't subscribe to the energy stuff, because I've shot deer with a 270 well past its 1,000 foot-pound of energy for a deer, and I've seen them just collapse. As long as the velocity is fast enough to deploy the bullet, you're going to get performance on an animal. It might not be as desirable as if you were closer and the bullet could deploy even better, like get bigger, but you're going to get performance. And I'll go back to the way caveman days. We've killed animals with spears and bows and arrows, and we still to this day are using spears and bows and arrows. This opens up. When this opens up, it's the size, almost the size of a 1-inch cut broadhead. I mean, it's close, and it's going a hell of a lot faster, and it creates a hydrostatic shock within the animal. So just keep that in mind. I'm not advocating people go out and hunt deer with a 22 mag, or it's not even legal. But I'm just saying, like I had a deer one time that one of my buddies shot, and the only thing I had with me when I went to track it with him was a 22 long rifle pistol. And so I guess what I'm going to say is, if you subscribe to the energy thing, that's awesome, really, but watch Buffalo Boar's videos. Tim Sundles, the guy lives and breathes ammunition. He owns an ammunition company. He'll tell you it's total BS, and there's other factors, and I highly agree with him. So one thing I will tell you, though, getting back on the 444 thing, it was kind of a rant for the day about crap. A 444 is a proven North American killer. Anything that walks on North America continent within its velocity operating ranges this will kill. It'll do no problem. And again, going back to what I said, you could probably kill a grizzly bear with a 22 Magnum. I wouldn't recommend it because it's going to be really pissed off when you shoot it. But that's not to say it won't kill it. It just ain't going to kill it right away probably. So 444 Marlin. I'm going to try to get you guys some range footage of this. And I just threw the scope on, so I'm going to take it to the range and bore sight it. Hopefully I have time to do that today. I do have a few things to do, and also some, it's Friday, and I have some alcohol to drink. I want to get tuned up a little bit and enjoy my weekend with my wife. We work very hard, her more than me actually, and she deserves a good time out. So if I have time, I'll make it to the range today, and then I'll post a second video with this ammunition shooting through a chronograph. I have a Caldwell G2 that we'll shoot through, and we'll see what kind of velocities we get with an 18-inch barrel, because I'm going to guess most of you around aren't hunting with a 444 Marlin with a 24-inch barrel unless you're a CVA owner, which is one of the brand new, I think one of the only rifles other than Rossi right now that's being made in 444 Marlin. Ruger, please bring the Marlin 1895 back in 444. It's a much loved cartridge, and I think it's, in my opinion, I believe it is the best lever action cartridge there is. Many different reasons, but we'll see if we get you guys some range results, and hopefully it'll shoot. I haven't shot this gun in a few years. Maybe for intensive purposes, I'll clean some of that other crap up, see if it fires. I'll probably have to ask a friend to be with, because to be honest with you, old ammunition scares me, and you can get squib loads, you can get misfires, and you can actually have catastrophic failure, depending. So we'll see about that. So, but thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I'm new to this stuff, and it just helps if I get some people that I know are watching. I mean, I'm not making any money off these videos. I do this just for the pure love of firearms and ammunition and the outdoors. But it does help to see people comment and to let me know, hey, I have this. I've had some people tell me they got the same rifle, or they bought a 444 and a Rossi was a nice comment that I got. I was excited to hear that. I'd be really curious to have that person, if they're watching this video, if they've shot it, maybe, comment back. Let me know how that Rossi is doing for you. I've seen that Rossi makes one in 454 Casull, and I think that would be a really killer lever action rifle to have. So again, like, share, subscribe. Really helps me, keeps my morale up, makes me want to do more. And you guys just be safe and aim small, miss small. Thanks for tuning in.